Hey everybody, it's Charlie from Swift Contractors Corner. I'm dragging my tail today, and yeah, Jeff and I were just talking about how we're just kind of oh my gosh, it's been a long week, but we haven't done anything really. I don't even understand what the heck's going on, but yeah, here we are. You know what today is? It's Tuesday, 2/22/22. I didn't have to look at the calendar. I just knew that. I've been winding up all day waiting for that to happen. And yeah, so here we are. People are tuning in. Glad to see you. I see you there. Let's see nobody's chatting yet. I got Jeff here with me. Look, there's the Jeff.
Hey,
Yay. And yeah, so Brett Stewart's supposed to be on here shortly. Taco Tuesday. Whoa, that's a name. Let me say, wait. Alaric. Okay, my bad. It wasn't so tough. It just threw me off when I saw letters combined right there for some reason. Like, that's not a name, but it is. Look at that. It's a name. Alaric Clay. Taco Tuesday. Good to see you. Paul Phillips. Man, good to see you. Yeah. Wow. I'm so kind of off my game today, but we're gonna get through this, guys. We're gonna talk contract stuff today. And I'm a little excited, and then I'm like, it's contract stuff. So it's hard to get super excited about it. It's just nice to know that they're giving us a kind of a heads up on what's going on. Blackbeard, hey guys. What's up, man? What's up? Alex said, yes, I'm
hey,
glad you can pronounce it correctly.
you got one right. Look at that.
Holy, who'd have thought I actually did it right?
I think you
I'm amazed.
I think you mispronounced Dan a couple days ago, didn't you?
Yeah, you know, I can't help it. Eric Bradley, good evening. Good to see you. God, we're glad you guys are here. Thanks for popping in. Oh, Craig Hutchinson. Good evening, SEC family. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, look, there's Alexia Richardson. Hi, Charlie. Hi, Jeff. Okay, that's the extent of my waving today. So, hey, you know what we're gonna do? Wait, there's Jimmy Weasel checking in too. Oh my gosh, look at that. We haven't had a Facebook user yet. That's pretty amazing. That makes me feel good. Maybe all these. So, did you guys know that we are now? This is week 27. Oh, look, it had to happen. Because I said it.
Hey, real quick.
Uh-huh.
I gotta show this.
All right.
It's a monumental time for me, Charlie.
Yes.
If you can zoom in on that, I don't know which way is left, which way is right.
Right here. What does it say? Oh, your card has been funded.
First confirmation of funding the new card.
1,700. They're like clockwork on that stuff. Seriously.
Yeah, I was impressed. So now I can buy fuel tomorrow and not have to pay the price that other people are paying. So
another Facebook user, how's it going? What is it? Charles Trucker 1. Oh, that's a fine name, Sir Charles. I'm just going to throw that out there. That is one of the finer names on the planet. TK, I see you, buddy. Alexia says her card is on the way. Alan Becker. Oh, geez. Here I go. Howdy hoo. But Darius Williams, good to see you. Man, look. These are not names I'm used to seeing in the show. So welcome everyone. We're glad you're here. Seriously, I know a couple of you are new to the group. Ladarius, I've spoken to you before. Good dude, that guy, actually, for real, Jeff. Like, good dude.
Yeah.
Who is this? Paul Phillips said we got to get to the house. Oh, good Lord. Facebook user, another Facebook user. Hello. Hey, Facebook users, all of you, because I'm thinking this is multiple guys that are new to the show. I'm going to put up a little link here real quick. Do us all a favor. If you go to this link right here, chat.restream.io/FB, it'll pop a window that says allow Facebook to see my name, and it'll post your name the next time you post in the show. Then we won't call you Facebook user, and you won't feel like we're being mean to you. What happens is we're actually streaming this through an outside service that goes out to Facebook, out to YouTube, and all those sorts of things. And when that happens, if you haven't allowed them to see you, then we can't see your names. But hey, I see you down there, sir. I will get to you in just one moment. I promise. I see you. And but yeah, guys, if you haven't already, try clicking on that link. Go to that link. Let us see your name. Then we won't call you Facebook user and point at you and laugh every now and then just because it's fun. Yeah, I'm getting better fuel mileage this week. Awesome, Eric. That's look, and you're one of the people that seriously needed the work. So keep doing what you're doing, and we're gonna get this going. Blackbeard said my card's at the house. I'll get it next week when I go home. Blackbeard, you're gonna love it, man. I'm telling you that the world of savings is amazing. Hey guys, I'm gonna jump into this fuel surcharge real quick. The report, guess what? It went up, and it makes me happy. And so that we can get into this discussion with Brett. So hang on tight, guys. We're gonna do this, and let's make some things happen. Pow! National diesel fuel cost average went up 0.036 cents. I can't talk. We're up to $4.05. The West Coast Pad 5 went up 0.028 to 4.679. Brings our fuel surcharge up to 0.462, y'all. That's a change of one of my favorite numbers, 007. Da-da. Anyhow, West Coast fuel surcharge is still at 10 cents. If that plus 0.624 you see down there at the bottom of that report drops to 0.621 anything, that West Coast fuel surcharge drops to 9, guys. So just saying that the gap is closing between the West Coast and the Pad 5. Not sure why, not sure what makes it do it. I don't know. People could say a lot of things and we could blame politics and whatever, but I ain't that guy. So I'm just saying whatever. You know what? Hey, we're done with the fuel surcharge report. I want to get into this other stuff. So
Charlie, I
Yeah.
just know it's not. I just know it's not my fault. That's
It's
all I
your
really
fault.
care about.
It's
It's
probably
not my
your fault
fault.
somehow. I don't know how, but it is. All right, let's do this. I'm gonna switch back over and get rid of this goofy graphic. And look, we got the Brett Stewart. There he is. I'm gonna put him up in the right corner.
Hey,
I don't know why, but I like sitting right below you for some reason. That's weird, right? That's weird. I don't even understand what I'm saying, but it's weird, and yet it flowed out of my face. I can't
It's
stop it.
Jeff's fault.
everything
Yes.
is.
Yeah,
So
it's Jeff's fault.
guys, if any of you want to call in, do us a favor. Call in now. If you want to talk to Brett, you want to talk to Jeff or myself, you can call in. The lines are open. I'm going to throw that silly little number up there real quick just for fun because I made a graphic. I might as well make it work. And which one is it? Look. Here's one. Nope, that cuts off the top of your heads. Oh, look, your flat tops. We can throw it down here.
Still
Yeah,
have the
that's
same
better.
haircut.
I'll cover my face. So yeah, dial 813-548-3722. We got the wonderful Rosie taking calls. If you hey, just call and talk to her and say, hey, what's up? I don't care if you want to be on the show or not.
Yeah,
Otherwise,
Rosie's
she's
awesome.
gonna get bored out there. She's gonna be like, oh my God, why am I doing this? But hey, 813-548-3722. Call now. All right, guys. So here we go. All right,
I'm
Mr.
gonna
Brett
call
Stewart,
in.
how are you, man? How's your week?
Fantastic. Thanks, guys. I had a good day off. I spent yesterday with my daughter. It was President's Day, so
Oh,
schools aren't in session. It was fun. We went to the local roller coasters. So
so
Nice.
Jeff and I both were like, why the hell didn't we get paid today?
Yeah.
It took us a while to figure out it was President's Day. We're so out of it. It's great. We're like, huh?
what?
Where's
I'm
my
doing good.
paycheck?
Hey, dude. I'm the only reason I know it's Tuesday is because we're doing the show. So
Right. Oh, that's one of the things I started saying. So this is week 27. We now have 26 consecutive, well, now 27 consecutive weeks of our live weekly update. Not a week lost
nice.
yet. 6
That's
months.
awesome.
And our channel turned 1 year old yesterday. And that just tells you
Wow.
it took us forever to start doing something with it. So yay.
Congratulations. And you guys
and
are still out there hustling, making money, running miles. Like, who said you can't do it all?
look, my body's trying to tell me that. I'm not even gonna pretend like it's not. It's like, dude, you gotta slow down. You
Oh,
gotta
that's the
slow down.
campfires at night. That's
Oh,
telling you that.
right. Oh, see, I talked the last time we texted was I was out there drinking beer, shooting guns, and eating burgers. That's right. Oh my
It takes a
gosh.
couple days to recover from fun like that.
I talked to Tillman that day too. I'm like, look, man, I'm tipping a beer. He's like, that's cool. Let's just handle this. I'm like, all right. I'm not driving. I'm on my property. We're safe.
We're good. I won't be driving for a couple days.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did that go? Is that going to be posted? Did
Well,
you and Tillman do an event?
no, it
video?
was just a conversation between he and I. Look, here's what I was trying to do. I was trying to be able to get behind the Swift cameras. And so my proposal was turn off what people call the nanny cam stuff and the coaching and that. And I get why they do it. Don't get me wrong. I get it. I understand. I don't like it happening to contractors because of the autonomy thing, which opens the lawsuits and all that other craziness, but then start screwing with our money later on down the road because we got a $100 million lawsuit we got to settle, right? And I don't want any of that crap. So, but basically, what he said is, look, it's there's a cost prohibition to shutting off certain parts of the camera system that I wanted shut off or not used, and so it's just a whole thing, and they're not going to do it, and that's cool. I mean, 25% of the fleet has 25% of the owner op fleet has a Swift smart drive in it. So whatever, that's their deal, man. Go for it. I'm not bashing it. I'm pro camera. I love it. I think we should all have our own cameras and but whatever. Yeah. So my idea didn't work. He's like, no, man, no.
Yeah, but
But
he did try to work with us a bit though, so it
no.
was worth the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he did say he's like, look, we're not coaching people per se anymore. Particularly, well, we're not coaching contractors because it's the contract autonomy thing and all that sort of thing. He said, but if we see you doing something really stupid, we're gonna call you on it. We're gonna have a conversation and we're gonna talk about what just happened.
Yeah.
We have to do that from just a liability standpoint. And I get it. We're aware of it. We have to say something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm glad you guys had the conversation, and Tillman's been always great about at least explaining it
Right.
in a great way, and one that you can understand and feel like you were part of. And at the end of the day, the option is to the owner. Do you opt in or do you
Right.
opt out? And
Right.
if I think our message is clear from us three, is that if you don't choose the Swift free camera, that you get discounts on,
Right.
get one of your own.
That was beautiful. That was
That
well
was
played,
a
sir.
nice segue.
Yeah.
I
might- we-
half
really
a
like that.
percentage off,
We-
increased speed. I mean, you get a
Right.
lot of different things.
We might as well put Alexia's comment on there as a follow-up.
Oh, wait.
Yeah,
I didn't even see it. My
saved
bad.
your
Where'd it
butt.
go?
So those of you that don't know, our friend Alexia there, she got into an accident here recently.
Oh, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. She got smashed.
And me and Charlie and Matt have been talking to her about navigating this whole thing because her truck's going to be in the shop for like 30 days because of all the body damage to it, all that stuff. And
It's like 40 grand in damage or some nonsense like that.
so the camera really did save her though. And Brett's shaking his head because he wants that camera in our trucks. But whether you have that camera, which again is free, all that stuff, have a camera. Just get a camera, man.
Yeah,
get a camera.
For real.
Because
For real.
when Brett and I were arguing, is a bad word, but we were discussing the camera situation, and what I brought up is the camera system that I still haven't bought yet, that I am going to pull the trigger on here pretty soon, has a real honest to goodness black box, so I can email the stuff to Swift Legal,
Right.
and they can review it, and I still get that protection from Swift Legal because I have a record of that accident.
Right.
Yep.
So
That's what's important. Yeah.
That's the thing. If you guys are going to go out there and buy your own, make sure you can do that. Make sure you can say, okay, here's Swift, here's an email with the file of the accident, so that legal can get a hold of that and defend you. Because some of these, Brett will tell you, there's guys, man, without a camera, you're kind of host.
Yeah, and there's people out there trying to make money out there. Like, I'm gonna hit that big truck and get paid, and I'm like,
well, just
not
look at
this
all the
guy. I got two
billboards, even
cameras running.
around. Just look at all the billboards. That guy with the sledgehammer that's on all the billboards in Phoenix.
Oh, that guy.
That's what he does. He makes money off a big truck.
On the strong arm.
Yeah.
My bad. I'm gonna get sued. That guy sued somebody
So,
not too long ago over that ad.
So yeah, cameras and stuff. But the ICOA, Brett, we got the ICOA coming up.
Oh, yeah. Look at Jeff getting us focused.
And
I know.
one of the things that because Charlie and I have been around for a while, and the first time I had to sign a new ICOA, I was like, "What the heck is this? I already have a contract."
Right.
I even called Dana. I'm like, "Do I have to sign this?" And she's like, "Only if you need to keep your if you want to keep your job." I'm like, "Oh, okay. Well, let's read this thing then." And it kind of weirded me out because I did not understand that every 2 years there's effectively a new contract.
Yeah.
So this is not something new. This happens every couple of years. Things get updated for whatever reason, and then we just have to decide if we want to live with that or not.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate the time, guys, so I can get on here and answer some questions around that. And we'll admit the first thing that you'll notice is we did somewhat fail today we send an email out just giving a heads up to everybody, because this isn't currently open to you on the portal. It will be, though, by end of tomorrow or the first of Thursday morning. And so we will get another message out when it's actually available for you to go review and then sign and ask questions on. But what we wanted to do with the email that we sent out this morning and we posted on your the portal and also on our transmission page is just to get ahead of some of the questions you might have and allow you the time to review what the changes are. And there are only 6 changes. At a full transparency, you can look up and down all through the pages and take as much time as you want to do that. There is no hidden agenda. We had 6 changes to the new 2022 ICOA, and those 6 changes we have listed actually. So you're going to see a cover letter, which they're showing you today, right now, and then below that is the FAQ, and that FAQ is just going through the 6 bullet points. What has changed and why? And I'd be happy to go through those today with you if anyone wants to call in or ask questions. I know Charlie and Jeff, I sent this to you, beforehand to allow you to review it and
Yeah, and
possibly.
we put it up in
Well,
the group, and there were some questions going here and there, but Alexi's got one right off the bat just for fun.
yeah, I
We're
was
just gonna
gonna
kill
say
one.
that's one of the better questions that we got on the Facebook pages about the performance bond.
Yeah, great questions.
So Charlie and I, ours was $1,500. Now it's gone up to 2,000. So we were just discussing this. Those of us that had that lower performance bond, are we good? Are we grandfathered into that, or do we need to stroke a check for another $500?
No, you're good. Anyone that is signed and already either paying into the 1,500, have made deposits, or have already completed that escrow will no longer have to add anything else additionally. Anyone that is signing now, so it's really just for every new lease, will be signing into that.
Cool.
Okay.
So it's grandfathered in, and we're awesome, and I don't have to give you more money, and that makes me happy.
Well, until you decide to park the truck for a year again.
You know what? You need to stop. All right. Gosh, sometimes a man needs a break. So there's another one that's a hot button topic for a couple of people, Brett, and that's the hiring of or pirating of Swift employee drivers into our fleets. And look, it's kind of been like a long standing look. I can get all the employees I need to drive my trucks. I'll just hire. That's what I did. I look, I've been hiring students. I was hiring students. That's the only people I ever hired was people that I trained. And I was like, well, I trust this guy. I'll put him in a truck, And so now with what's going on here, I understand why they're doing it, but let me just touch on it. It says, unless otherwise mutually agreed to in writing, contract agrees not to hire or solicit for employment any former or current employee of company during the term of the ICOA for a period of 6 months after the termination of the employee's employment with the company. That's the restricted period. If contractor hires any former or current employee of the company during the restricted period, contractor agrees to pay the company $8,500. That's a big number, but I understand what's happening here. But I'm gonna let you dip into that if you want to, Brett.
Yeah, and as scary as it is, $8,500 isn't even our cost to bring on a driver at Swift. I mean, our hiring costs recently have been upwards of $9,600 or more,
right?
Just depending on the state we're hiring in and how much training that individual is going through. But yeah, this is just a way for us, obviously, to recoup some of our costs that we incur for the training and hiring of new employees. And so we hope to recover those. We understand that there's actually some owners that would be not as expensive for them. It's cost them more to find someone or to advertise on their own. And a lot of these folks are maybe trainers, and they are able to vet some of the folks that they're training and would know that that individual would be a good employee for their business. And so again, maybe 8,500 makes sense to them. Ultimately, we're better off for that not to happen as a company. We don't want to lose any of the people we're hiring and training,
Right.
but we understand that's the nature of the industry. It happens, and if it does, there's that cost offset, which we want to work with the owner on. Naturally, we can set that up as installment loans, and two, we're going to take these case by case as well. Let's say that that driver that the contractor hired ends up going back to Swift as a company driver.
Right.
The loan would just cease at that point, and whatever you paid into it wouldn't be reimbursed, but at least you wouldn't have anything else
Right.
at that point. But if that same employee just quit altogether, that individual would have to keep that in mind, that they were still
Right. They're still on
have
the
to
hook for that
pay. Yeah,
8,500. Right.
yeah,
So just to follow up on that, and I'm not trying to be shady here, but I know a couple of people are actually in the process of doing this very thing we're talking about. If they get this done prior to this contract kicking in, is it going to be stopped this week if they get them hired, or is it? I mean, what's going to happen? Because that was like, well, it's Alan. Alan really has this question. Alan Becker. He's been talking to me. He's like, oh man, because he's had a guy, a friend of his that he wanted. He's like, this, oh man, and it's been pretty funny. And I'm like,
yeah.
this might
I
cost you
like your
8,500, buddy.
I liked your Alan Becker
You
impersonation.
like
That's
that?
good. Yeah, yeah.
It
I
doesn't
don't have
sound
that.
anything like him, but it's
No,
fun.
I don't think so. Yeah. No, so yeah, definitely a valid question. And that's going to be where we again go case by case. And there's, just recently where an owner operator actually referred the employee. So that person actually put the owner operator on the application. I was referred by blank person, and I want to train with that person, and I want to work for that person. And so it was way up
Oh,
front. And at that point, we're not going to charge a thing. I mean, if that owner operator is a trainer and they incur the cost to train that individual for the 200 plus hours, and then they, upgrade and are safe, and then they can then go over as an employee to that owner op, then we'd be okay to do that. Now, there's most of the time we don't want to contract, or really one of the qualifications of being owner operator is to have at least 12 months of experience. And so we just have to look at the whole experience and ensure
right,
that that person, even though they're an employee of the owner operator, they still run for our insurance and our authority,
right.
DOT. And so in this case that I just mentioned, everything made sense, and we just transitioned them over. So
Gotcha.
yeah, just be upfront. Contact your recruiter. You can email me. We can, just ahead of time saying this individual is coming into Swift. They're going to work for me,
Look, I
and
don't know
we'll be
why
good.
Alan hasn't called you yet. I told him like Saturday, you need to call Brett Monday morning, man. If you don't, you're dumb. That's what I flat out told him just like that. He's
Yeah,
like, I'm gonna do it. And then I talked to him Monday. I'm like, you call him? He's like, no. I'm like, you're dumb.
he's got my cell. He must be giving me a break from the previous month.
I
So
don't know why he's being nice. I'm like, look, man, you better handle business.
it's what it's yeah. But hopefully
So
Alan knows he can call me. Yeah.
the next bullet
We're
is the agreement becomes effective. Right there. Well, I almost lost my spot. This agreement shall become effective upon the effective date of execution, which is going to be March 2nd, I believe. And it's going to be in force until your anniversary date in 2023. That's something that's changed. It used to just happen every March 2nd, 3rd, or 4th, or something like that. And I think that one's pretty self-explanatory, but if anyone's got a question about that, throw it up. But basically, on your next anniversary, that's going to happen in 2023. You'll have a new ICOA. That way, they're not getting slammed with these things all at once.
Yeah, and then next year, your next ICOA will read 2025. And so from that point, it'll be every 2 years. But we had to get away from this big cliff event where we just had 1,700 owners all signing on the same day. And
Right?
now it's just better for everybody. And because we also had owners that were literally signing a new lease in December and then re-signing 4 months later,
Wow.
so it just makes sense now. So it actually, on February 11th, all of our new contractors had that agreement, and they're already at a 2 year on that anniversary date. So on that original signing date. So yeah, hopefully that's better for everybody.
Oh, so here's one from Mike Ferris. Sorry, let me go back to that real quick. I got a driver going through training, 150 hours, already has a CDL, already hired by Swift, then has to quit company to come over to the owner op side to drive with me. I got to pay 8,500.
Well, he says I have a driver going through training, so I would assume that applicant put on their application they were going to work for Michael Ferris. They were referred by Michael Ferris, and all of those things. And so we can take that offline, Mike, and I can look into that for you.
Hey, and Mike, look, let me help you out here. Watch this. You're gonna love this, Brett. Watch what I finally did. Pow! The Brett Stewart number 602-477-3578.
That's
Give him a
awesome.
call. Give him a
Yeah.
call, Mike.
Don't call me right now though, because I can't
yeah,
answer. I'm on
it
this
ain't gonna
one.
happen. I'm
Yeah.
just saying. But yeah, so yeah, okay. So I feel like I missed something over here. I'll come
I
back to
feel
you, Alexi,
official
on the
now.
other
I'm like
thing.
part of this channel now. I love it.
Right,
Well,
right.
I just
3 weeks straight, man.
I just wanted to emphasize too that part that we were talking about is, so for people that are nervous about it, it does say unless otherwise mutually agreed to in writing. So you know how we're trying to get you guys all the time to call Brett, call your terminal leader, call
Right.
whoever.
Build relationships.
There are relationships, and that leads to negotiation. You can negotiate some of this stuff. You might not like where it goes. You can negotiate it.
Sometimes you win, sometimes not so much.
Yeah. I mean, that opens it up to, call them and find out if you're going to have to pay that $8,500 or not.
Yep. Yeah, I would say, you're not obviously not an employee, you're an independent contractor with your own rights and provisions, and we want to respect that, and we have ours, and you meet in the middle the best you can at times. And so that's absolutely correct.
So cool. Mike Ferris, I would reach out to Brett just to double check and get those facts straight. And that's what I would do. Let's move on. Let's see what do we got. The communication equipment and rental charge, $17 a week. That's for the tablet. Where if you had a Qualcomm, there's actually a bunch of people in here that probably didn't have a Qualcomm at all. And so yeah, tablet, $17. We used to get charged $20. That's just a nice open change, so don't think we really got to talk about that. But if you don't turn that tablet back in, should you terminate your contract and go elsewhere, it's going to cost you $1,500, yo. So don't mess around. Don't.
Yeah.
I don't even know why you would keep it. Look, it's a fine tablet. I ain't paying $1,500 for it.
Yeah. No, and the Qualcomm was 3,000, so that's a reduction.
Right.
Obviously the tablet's not as expensive to replace, and but yeah, it needs to be returned in working order, and then we're good to go. So they just, yeah, I think you know what to do there.
Here's one. Facebook user, not sure which one you are, but I'm just going to call you Facebook user because you didn't click on that link yet, and that's cool. Maybe you could do it for next time show. Anyhow, Facebook user says, I just recently signed on the 15th of February. Do I need to sign again? And I think I can answer that, but I'm not going to. Go ahead, Brett. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. No, you should not, is the answer, but just to double check, refer to, and I'll come up with the page number, but go down to your contract signing date section of the new ICOA, and it will tell you the next signing. So you will have that there.
Yeah, I had to think about. I just looked at the old ICOA, and it's nope. I can't pull it out of my head. I tried.
Yeah,
it was just going to cause serious.
It'd be like
pain.
Rain Man right there.
Right, you'd have been like you would have. Your head would explode. You'd be like, "Oh my god, this guy's on it."
254 toothpicks.
Right. Definitely not my under. So, if a contractor chooses not to transport loads under the ICOA for more than 90 days, company may deduct $175 per month from any compensation due contractor or from the performance escrow to cover the cost of contractors' base plates. This is a funny one. So I actually had this discussion several years back. And it was funny because I kept getting a hard time from certain folks in the division that are no longer around. But they were like, dude, your truck has been parked for 2 years. You haven't driven it. It's literally been in our parking lot for 2 years. I'm like, yep. I'm like, what's the problem? They're like, dude, we're paying for your plates. I'm like, I'll pay for the plates. If that's your only I'll pay for the plates. That was really my only cost on it, and I was paying everything every month, right?
Yeah.
And they were mad because I wasn't pulling freight, and I get it, but I offered to do that, and they're like, no. Like that was the whole discussion. It was great. Like I said, people are gone, and there's reasons for those things happening, and I don't know, maybe that was one of them. But I offered to pay for the plates for the 2 years. I'm like, look, I get it. I don't want you to pay for my plates. I'll pay for that
Yeah.
stuff. I'm just letting
Yeah.
it rot there, and that's why it looks the way that it does right now, because it baked in Phoenix for 2 years under the sun and hadn't moved. Oh my God, I need a paint job, Brett. I need a
Yeah.
paint job. We should talk about that one day.
Yeah. Talk to me. We'll get
I'm
you
just
set up.
saying. I'll even put a decal on there. I'm just saying. No, your face and that perfect hair.
We'll put some of those airborne decals and get your
There you
service
go.
up there. And so the word may is in there too as well. So that's just one of those things where we may, but we will always contact you ahead of time to let you
Right.
know that your truck's been dwelling, and we want, or we will deduct the $175. And then 9 times out of 10, it's you're a fleet owner and it's maybe one of your trucks that you're not operating. You can just hop in the truck and run it, and keep it. There's a way out that way, or it's just ultimately for us, as Charlie alluded to, is that's an expense that we pay for. We have to pay for your plates and permits every month. It's more than $175. We're just trying to compensate the cost and offset it, because if you're out running and making revenue, that would offset the costs that we're spending, and we're neutral there. But yeah, and the only
It
thing,
totally makes sense.
you there was a situation with an owner that was actually did that thing and was parked his truck for multiple years, but it was in LA in our Harupa Valley terminal, where parking is like,
Right.
very expensive. And so at that point, if you were to call me, Charlie, I'd probably say that's cool, but can you also pay us for parking? And then we
Right.
would
And then
make
I'd
an
be like,
agreement.
heck no, man, that costs too much in LA.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
what that real estate costs.
I'd be like,
That's
dude,
why I
just
don't live there.
150 a month. I
Yeah.
mean, we can make a deal.
Like
But
$250 a day.
yeah, but yeah,
But
that goes
yeah,
back to that. And so that's what that's for. And yeah, we'll work through those case by case.
cool. And so, I mean, really, really the key to several of these things is if you have questions, you guys reach out, ask the questions. I mean, there's nothing wrong with reaching out and saying, hey, this is the situation, this is what's going on, and can we make this work? And look, they say yes, they say no, or they say maybe we could do this instead. It's kind of like load acceptance, right? You take the load, you turn down the load, or you counter the load, and it's negotiation.
Yeah.
This would work much better than that whole scenario right there that I gave, because you counter load, they're like, oh, I'm gonna go to the next guy, and then you look at it. But whatever, that's a planner thing. We're gonna get a couple of them in here again just for fun. But
Hey, so before we leave this, I just wanted everyone to
yep,
know. So if we have your email on file, which we have 95% or more of, we've emailed this to your. So check the junk mail, your clutter, whatever it might slip into. And the cover letter and this FAQ is there for you. And then by Thursday morning, you'll have it where you just go into the portal and you'll see a big red tag on the top that you click on, and
right.
just, go from there to see the full thing. So, of course, I'm available. Our rapid response team's available if you have any questions in the meantime, and would love to answer those for you. But trust me when I say, I mean, look up and down through all the pages. These are the only 6 changes that have happened since 2020. We wanted to be fully transparent so you can kind of, take your time and read through those. But
And I promise everyone, I will be going line by line by line by line, because I do that all the time. I do
yeah,
that with everybody's contract. I'm like, look, you want me to go through it? I'll go through your contract. Send it to me.
yeah,
Right? They don't change. I mean, I know them pretty good, but every now and then we get a little weird. Oh, well, that's interesting. Or I learned something new, because look, there's just some things that I've kind of glossed over. And let's face it, I'm not a bright man some days, and I'm just like, I can't even see that anymore. But reading contracts, man, that's a rough job. So
yeah, I've puts me to sleep. Real quick too before we move. So
yeah,
they just recently, the Facebook user that just recently signed on the 15th of February. So look on page 10 on the term of agreement.
nice.
It's 15A. So this agreement shall become effective upon the effective date of execution, and it will have the date of when your next one is.
So we got a couple guys here
Nice.
on the same topic, Brett. So we got Mike Ford and Charles Berg. Both want to know when will the load board be updated? Thanks, Mike Ford. Hey, Mike Ford, thank you for putting your name on there, so I know that that's
Yeah.
you, and I didn't call you Facebook user. See how that works? I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
No, there was a couple. I mean, it's definitely a popular subject. And the two of you guys, Jeff and Charlie, I forwarded you the demo. Were you able
Right.
to view the demo?
Yeah, I
Yes.
dug it. I mean, it
Yeah.
looked like it worked, right? Just
Mhm.
minus the back end, of course. They're like, oh wait, we can't click on that because there's no back part yet. That's a
Yeah.
different department. But it looked good. I mean, look, and I sent a picture to Jeff before he even ever saw the video of the confetti.
That was your guys'
I
ideas.
saw that. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
confetti.
So bring the ideas. We will put them into production. So yeah, it is coming along. I mean, the demo was, I loved it. I love the way where it's going. It is missing that back end piece that they're working on today. And for us, the number one priority is the automation, so that when you click the load you want off the board, it goes right into the 400, gets planned and committed, and
Nice.
potentially even dispatched if you're empty with the right trailer. But it's the automation piece that's they're getting a little tripped up on right now. But every
They
week
get
they
any
progress
estimate
even
yet?
more. I will know Monday, the 28th is when they're going to finalize what their work was, what they were doing
That's your
this
next
week. So
powwow.
yeah.
Gotcha.
So actually every Monday at 10
Okay.
a.m., which is perfect because I can start just sending you all the updates on Mondays and we can talk about them on this Tuesday call. But
Cool.
it's moving. We're actually not going to allow the mileage API to hold us up for much longer, because we are going to really pull in a ton of freight that you already have options on, which is the AS400 Swift freight. That
Right.
other freight, the
Okay.
TMW, the Internet Truck Stop, the DAT freight, that's the stuff where we need the mileage maker to match exactly what you would get on your settlement.
Right.
And
Because of the
so,
contract stuff.
yep. And so they're going to still work on that in the background and not hold us up to move forward. But I mean, let's be honest, we got thousands of loads we can display today. So
Right. So on that, eh, I don't know how to ask this. My brain locked up. I'll come back to it.
yeah.
I'll come back to the load board question when my brain catches up.
Yeah.
A couple people said they want to get on the load board as testers, Brett. I don't know if we need more. If you need more, what's going on there? I know we got
Well, we've been
100.
just telling people, look, talk to your OOC about it
Yeah.
and run
Yeah.
it up
You
the
could,
chain if you want to get involved.
yeah, talk to your OC. Also Jerry, Coretta, and Omar, depending on which region you run, they can um, have a phone call with you and get you set up. Because the first thing we want to do is have one of them talk to you. Yeah, we can just have the conversation on the phone, just more of like what it is and what it isn't, give the overview, because that's what's important to understand while it's in testing, is
Right.
how it navigates. And then also understanding that don't feel as if you're going to log in and see 50,000 loads for the next year. It's a
Right.
small sample size in the beta. There's, I think, probably 200 loads today, upwards of 450 at times, but
Right.
it's there and it's available. And we do have I think about 85 testers right now. So
Yeah, the few times that I've actually been able to use it, I really liked it. It's just being in one of those lanes that actually has freight right now.
Right.
That's
yeah,
Yeah. It's been a little
that's
sparse on
populated.
some spots.
I mean, like I tell you, so there was one I had to call Jerry and ask about this because it looked weird, man. It's in West Valley City, getting ready to leave the house last time I left the house, and there was 5 loads that said power only out of Golden, Colorado. And I come to find out what it was empty trailer moves all the way to Georgia.
yeah,
So even though I was in West Valley City, I was like, I'll eat those miles for, 2,000 miles with an empty trailer. Okay. You know? So, it's just what I've found right now with where it is, because people are always asking me, where's it at? I'm like, well, right now, you just have to check it every day and
yeah,
and see what's there, because it's not like you said where we want to see it is those thousands of loads, and different markets covered right now. That's just not happening,
yeah,
and
Right.
I'm trying to manage people's expectations on this, because it is um I'm just saying that I'm glad I drive a truck instead of program computers, because this thing just seems like a nightmare on their end.
Right.
well, yeah. And then the nice thing I'd mention too is the developers have added a filter now to where in the new environment where you can just save your search. So let's say you from Salt Lake City to Atlanta, Georgia is the lane that you want to run consistently in, and you click and there's nothing there. You can save that search and it will notify you when a load pops in.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to get a very lane specific, which maybe isn't as dense of a lane, like that would be
Right.
probably not very dense lane. you can select that lane and then just sit back and wait for the notification to come to you. So
Yeah, see,
that way you're not
and I
having to
dig
feel like
that.
you have to refresh. Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
because like for me, coming out of Florida sometimes is rough at times, but I have there's a special magic load that comes out of East Point, Georgia, that goes to Phoenix. It's wonderful stuff. I love that customer. Half the time it's really light, and it's a straight shot to Phoenix. It's got a little extra time than I would need as a team, but we talked about it before, and there's ways to work around that. Maybe pull some freight in between your deliveries, as long as you're not going to blow your delivery. Hey, we could work some things out. Again, that's one of those things you get to talk to somebody about and be like, "Hey, what's up?" Oh, but Darius said, that wasn't it. Where'd it go? He said, he didn't have a pre-pass, and I can't hit the right buttons here at all. This is great. This is fabulous video. But he said he didn't have a pre-pass in his truck. Where does he get one? Permits.
Permits. Yep.
Hey, Alan, if you want to call back, I'm sorry I didn't see you sitting there, but I will give you a shot at Brett right now. Go for it, Alan. If you get in and Rosie puts you through, I will put you on with Brett, man. I didn't see you until you hung. I was just about to pull you up and you hung up.
I can
Oh my
call him on
God.
my cell phone and we can put him on speaker too.
Right? That's, oh my gosh, how much fun.
Well,
But
hey,
yeah,
so
so yeah, with permits.
sorry to interrupt too.
No, you're
So
good.
Facebook users been talking to my OC be like talking to a brick wall. So I would tell you to change your OC and change your terminal if that's the case, and let me know who that is so we
Right?
can coach them up. And they also said they've been trying to get on the load board for a year, so let's get you on there. Let me know who you are, but yeah,
So
no.
it's funny you said it that way, Brett. And this is why I think it's funny, because this is the exact same thing that we tell people all the time. They're like, I can't talk to my OOC. They won't take my calls, or I can't get a hold of them, or what have you, things like that. And I'm like, then you need a new OOC, and maybe you need a new terminal, and you should talk to your terminal leader and the fleet leader
Mhm.
and see if you can get that worked out. And it's just great to hear you say it, because now it's
Yeah.
not just me. It's not just
Yeah.
us saying it. They're like, well, that's just Charlie and Jeff. Look, y'all, Brett Stewart, owner operator VP, just told you the same damn thing we've been telling you on this type of situation. You
Yeah.
know, we're supposed to be working together. I don't work for them, they don't work for me. We work in conjunction. It's symbiotic.
Yeah.
We help their numbers, they help our numbers, and we move on. And that's the way the world is supposed to work on our side of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think out of fairness, the first thing to do is give them feedback and give them time to improve and change. And as you mentioned, Charlie, just go to the terminal leader first with what is going on, what are your frustrations,
Right.
and agree to a timeline. Sure, I'll give you 15 days or 30 days, and if it doesn't improve, then here's the option. All of our owner operators also have the lifeline to our placement center, and they can take the lead on that if you don't feel like you want to, and they have opportunities outside of what you're currently doing as well. So
Oh, what'd you say? Who do we talk to if there's a load on the board going where we need, but Swift doesn't have it? Huh? I don't understand that one. Who do we talk to if there is a load on the load board going where we need, but Swift doesn't have it?
maybe
I'm
they
at a
know
loss.
of freight off of another load board that we could bring into our load board.
I'm not
Hmm.
sure. We'll have to see if he follows up with that. And
Yeah.
then Heather said something somewhere, and I missed it. And Andre was like, "Dude, that was Heather." I haven't talked since I shared with Brett. Oh, I think that
Sure.
was Heather talking about getting on the load board for a year. Maybe
Hmm.
I'm wrong.
Ah,
Maybe I'm right. Whatever. Oh, broker loads. So that's going to be a little further down the road. That was Jason Kennedy.
yeah.
Hmm.
That right now, look, we just like to get the load board running and available,
Yeah.
and giving us a product that we can actually work off of and make money from. And then the other bells and whistles that everybody wants. We need the foundation first, right? you
Yep.
know Without that foundation, we're not going to be able to get anything done. Alan, you can talk to Brett directly about that one. I know your struggle there. He said, I can't change my OOC, and he's got tears in his eyes.
Yeah.
Just saying, you're in a special situation. And yeah, just whatever. Cry some more. We don't want to hear your salt. All right. God,
Well,
those Northeast regional
hopefully,
guys.
though, that I mean, he's seen improvement after that conversation, and if not, then let's have another one. So
Yeah,
Right.
seriously. Like, yeah, keep Brett posted, Alan, because that's your lifeline on that whole issue. Sorry, we're talking out of school here, guys. We're talking about stuff that you probably don't understand, and we're not going to get into it. But that's cool because
Yeah.
why not? I don't know why. I don't even know what I'm saying right now, so I don't even know why you think that I know anything right at the moment. So let's see. Andra, yep. Andra, I see you. And oh, Alan Becker said he texted you also, just so we know.
Sweet.
It's just Heather Florido. Wait, I was on one of the Facebook users is Heather about the load board, me, Heather budget, or insist system. In the system, she's Heather Florido. She's confusing me right now. Heather, you need to stop. I like you, but you're hurting my head.
Is that like Siri's messing up? It's tough to understand.
Right? And Charles Bird said he's one of the people that's been trying to get on the load board since last year. It's
Okay.
been a slow build, guys. So I mean, reach
Mhm.
out. Reach out. OOC. If the OOC is not doing it, then there's other avenues. And I don't know if you all caught that or not, but you could always just make one of these little dippy doos and covering it with the stupid question. There you go. 602-477-3578. That's the Brett Stewart hotline.
Mhm.
Leave him
Call the number.
voicemail. He doesn't get them all the time, but definitely leave him voicemail. He'll get back to you. He's good at that. It could take him 4 months, but he'll do it.
No,
See what
it
I
will
did there? My
never
bad.
take me 4 months. Um,
I'm sorry, Brett.
what about the owner operator fleet consultant line? We have that 800 number for those. Did you guys share that often?
Yes, in the group, I don't have a graphic for it because I'm not
Oh,
that
no, that's
forward
okay.
thinking.
Yeah.
But yeah, we in fact, I just put it up in the group today. We had a couple new people talking about things. And I'm like, look, you need to save the owner operator planners, as we refer to them, because those long titles hurt our heads. And and told them exactly how to get a hold of them and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's all good, guys.
Yeah, we end up giving that number out at least twice a month, I think.
Yeah,
It
share
just
that because that's going to be your direct link into the load board. Start the conversation now,
Right.
and then also, those are your folks when you get stuck somewhere and need help out, and that's what they're there for. So
Right. No, and that is a tremendous resource. We've had some issues in the past getting a hold of them. I think that I've been seeing a little quicker response time, Brett, from what people are saying. I've been, they're like, I'm like, did you call Omar? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, let me know when you get back, when you hear back from him, because he's busy. He's got other planning he has to do as well. We get that. Hopefully, that's going to get worked out someday. But then I'm getting message back. Oh yeah, he got me a load. These people don't message me back for 3 days, mind you. And they're like, "Yeah, oh,
yeah.
yeah, he got me a little like 10 minutes later. It was great." I'm like, "Okay, because I picked that one off the list, but that's cool.
Yeah,
Whatever."
the last time I worked with Coretta, man, it was like a good, I don't know, 2 hours before she got back to me, and she was literally panting on the phone. Okay, what can I do for you? Because she was just
yeah,
going from call to call to call all day long.
yeah.
So,
So keep that in
these
mind. They're
people,
just
keep
one
that in
person
mind,
per
and
region. Yep.
yep.
Okay, I'm not sure I understand this. What is SPO, CPO, and KPO stand for? Any is that ringing a bell for you at all, Brett?
No.
I don't know where they're seeing this. If you could give us some follow up on that, maybe we can get to it. Could I be on the load board if I'm dedicated? I usually don't have. Sorry, this is a question from Ladarius. Could I be on the load board if I'm dedicated? I usually don't have loads for Thursday and Fridays.
Yeah. Absolutely.
There you
Yeah,
go.
so
That's
with that, if you are on dedicated, and as this thing progresses, naturally, right now we're working in the over the road drivers, and then we're going to go into the other lines of businesses and some dedicated options. But with that, being an owner operator, you have the freedom of choice, right? And so part of having that choice is opting into other freight, but be mindful and respectful of what you've committed to and who you
Right.
contact, So we would just ask for that respect back as far as, hey, I took a load off of a load board this Thursday. I'll be back to work for your dedicated facility on Tuesday morning.
So I got a
So
weird
they,
question about that.
yeah,
If, for instance, let's look at Target Dedicated. Their contract owner operator rate is 96 cents a mile plus surcharge and stop pay and all that. If they took a load board load, because their contract is for 96 cents a mile, which rate are they pulling for? Are they pulling on the OTR rate, or is there an addendum if they're on the
yeah.
load board? Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. And it's a great question. So if they don't call in to rapid response and have their contract changed to state, hey, for the next week or next 5 days, I'm going to be running over the road freight, then they're going to get paid. Their compensation will be based off of the contract they're under.
Gotcha.
So which would be dedicated.
So it might not be a great thing to do for a day or two, but definitely a week or something like that. You want to get out and stretch your legs.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a day or two might be a total pain, and Rapid's going to be like, dude, we don't like you.
Yeah.
Because
It
I
just,
might do that if I was them.
Oh yeah, maybe it's one of those things as the project matures, we'd start looking at things like addendums for that.
yeah.
Something
Yeah.
a little
Well,
easier than having to do a whole new contract.
yeah, for sure. I mean, too, if it's a one off, two off, we could always just even make it right by giving you the difference in miles or just working through that case by case. But yeah, if you don't say anything and then just go opt into running other freight, then we would catch it a month after with an audit, but we wouldn't catch it on that settlement date.
So there's the follow up to JAJ Nellum's Transport. When he was asking about the what is SPO, CPO, and KPO stand for, he says instead of driving, it says SPO or one of those things. And I don't know what those designations are. I honestly don't know.
Yeah, SPO might be Swift power only, meaning it's preloaded on
Oh,
a Swift trailer. Because
hmm.
are we talking about the load board right now? Or
Yeah,
what are we talking?
Yeah.
that's what he's saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I think an SPO is a Swift power only. Maybe a KPO would be, I don't know. It's PO would be power only, meaning it's preloaded. So
Hmm.
it might be someone else's trailer or our trailer, but I can confirm that.
Yeah, that there's some weird little codes that pop up on there, and I think some of that's actually trying to be sorted out because I think at one point I saw someone go, "What does that even mean?" And that was
Yeah.
from the development guys, and they're like, I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just there. We'll fix it."
Part of being in the beta, there's
Right.
some crazy stuff, so there's some freight that comes through as -1 mile, and so we've added a filter now that it won't display loads unless the accuracy is there. So that's going to be the new launch.
Oh, so Alan said CPO is Central, SPO is Swift, and KNO is Night. Look, Alan knows things from the percentage program. He
It
gets
knows a
access to
lot.
that other equipment stuff. So,
Okay, I'll stop
Yeah.
looking then.
right, right.
That's the good thing about the group, man, is a question like that goes out there, somebody's got to know. It's just if that person's awake or not.
Yeah.
So, okay,
Knowledge in the
so
masses.
I see a bunch of you guys going the same route here, and I'm gonna throw this out there, and Brett can chime in if he wants. But the percentage thing is not right now. We got to get the load board going first. Yeah, I'm sure Brett could say it far more eloquently than I could, but right now, the focus is not the percentage program. It's not to say it's not happening. It's just we can't get all these things done at one time because it's spreading out all this work everywhere, and they're just not getting it done. I mean, they were trying to work on 14 projects before, and we would
Right.
get 2 weeks of work on one project, and then that one got put aside for 6 weeks, and they couldn't get all these things done. Now we have a focus team on the load board, and let's let them focus on the load board. I don't know if you want to touch any more on that or not, Brett, but
Yeah. No, I think
didn't mean to put you
you.
on the hot seat, man. I know it's a tough subject sometimes. So
No, and it's a fair question. I mean, it's so what you said is accurate and truthful. What I would add is that, there's currently 105 independent contractors at Swift that are on a percentage contract.
right,
It exists, and we're using those 105 in a sense of where it works, where it works geographically, where it works with business that, is profitable for both parties. It's not to say we're not looking anywhere else. We are just taking it in pieces. And, right now the load board is the number one priority still. In the future, I am hopeful personally that we work towards a percentage, but there's nothing on the horizon that I can tell you tangibly that yes, it's going to happen this year, or this month, or whenever. So
right. So be
But yeah,
patient or focus on what we can focus on right now, guys. I mean, that's really my best advice. Look, there's a lot of us that would love it. There's a lot of us who don't understand it and would do very poorly on it because they don't understand how it works. And there's education that needs to happen for folks to get on that, and it can be very costly education. And there are just some lanes that just don't pay. Swift did a study quite
Yeah,
some time ago.
you live in one of them.
Yeah, exactly. Coming out of Florida is not a great place sometimes. It's got its moments, but it's not the regular booming like Northeast. And Swift did a study over all of the lanes people were running, and it didn't stack up well for everybody. It was a weird look in my opinion, but they looked at it nonetheless. But it is something that is it's out there. It's not a no, and it used to be a flat out no. No, you want to work percentage, go somewhere else. And,
Mm-hmm.
and,
yeah.
and that was the old guard, and I'm glad that it's not that way anymore. And so I don't know. I don't know how to make you guys happy on this one.
Well, no, and,
It's
and
not.
it's
I
something
can't.
too
It's
to
just real.
review. I think we get caught up, and I'm guilty of it as well. We get caught up in the allure of a topic like percentage because you think that means like exponential in earnings.
Right.
But go look at Florida, for example. It's a backhaul market that you'd be lucky to get $1.05, even right now in today's economy. So if you got 70% of $1.05, I mean, do the math. No, so then you would say, well, choose, I'd much rather my $1.16 per mile contract rate. I don't want the 75 cents a mile. But then you get to a place like LA and the average rate per mile is like 3.95 a mile. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're getting 70% of that, then you made up for your 72 cents on average that you got out of Florida. But then if I pulled anyone on this call, I would bet 10% of you go to California. And
Right.
so
Mm-hmm.
you have to consider that. So then right now, in the next between October and March 15th, 80% of our owner operators run the 40, right? You want to stay south. And that's what everybody wants to do in a low and freight environment. And the
This guy.
shippers are keen to that too, because they go, it's supply and demand. All of a sudden now, the supply of truckers is really available on the 40. I'm dropping all
Right.
my rates,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So then all of a sudden you're on percentage and you're like, oh, this is great in times, but in times it's not. I promise you, if you look at a 1099 side by side, you're going to see 50% gain on either side. The
Right.
owners that
Well,
that
yeah.
choose to, yeah, go ahead.
Charlie just had a experience, was about a year ago, with that guy at the hotel
Right.
where they were comparing bank account sizes. I'm being
Yeah.
polite,
It was fun.
but Charlie, what was it? He was like, what, a
we
quarter,
we
maybe
yeah, we
maybe
dipped into
10
real
cents.
world numbers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, we went through the accounting. He and I sitting by a pool drinking beer, smoking cigars. It was great in Phoenix, mind you. And I'm like, he's like, I don't pull nothing less than $3 a mile. And I said, okay, great. I said, but how much work do you put in every week? And what are you putting in the bank every week? And when we sat down and came down to the final numbers, he was baffled because his final numbers only beat me by 25 cents a mile overall. Now, 25 cents is a lot, don't get me wrong, but he's taking $3 a mile. Wouldn't take anything less than $3 a mile. He's got his
Mhm.
own authority, his own trailer, his own insurance. When all those costs started factoring into it, he only made at the time, my net take home after all expenses was $1.02 a mile, just over $1.02 a mile, just under $1.03. It was like 102.7 or 6 or something like that. And he was at like 126 and another digit. What was his final revenue per mile net? And I'm
Right.
like, bro, I don't work that hard.
Yeah.
And I only work 4 days a week.
Yep.
Okay. I
Yeah,
literally work 4 days a
yeah,
week.
that's the thing, that whenever this comes up, the argument that I find myself always having is, look, I've been through at least 3 cycles so far. I've been doing this for 15 years. When the rates are up like they are today, everybody comes out of the woodwork. Oh, you're a moron not working for percentage. You think we hear from those guys at all when the freight drops down to 99 cents again, which it
Hell no,
always does?
they're hiring back on it Swift
Yeah,
because
they're
they
going
can't
back to
afford it out
Swift.
on that world. So, and
So,
then it's like crickets hearing from these
so
guys.
you know, there's a huge education that you need to be able to even pull a percentage business off. The guys that are doing it in the Northeast can tell you, you know, Matthew Wright is one of those guys that's really active in the group. Ask him about it. He'll show you his settlements and his numbers and how he's doing what he's doing. And he works harder than us. I could tell you that.
Yeah.
I just wait for a load to come.
And Mike,
I will
just to
say,
address you, I'm sorry, Brett, but what are some of the rates offered on the load board, if there is any? So what's going on the load board is it's contracted rate. So whatever your contract states is what you're going to be paid on the load board, and it's the OTR rates right now for van.
yeah. And what I would say is I think ultimately what everyone's asking for is another option and opportunity.
Right.
And we hear you, and we want to continue to look at those and provide those options and opportunities, but we want to also make sure that it makes sense and that we do our due diligence and we don't just jump at an idea that ends up not working for half the people. And so we'll keep down that path and keep listening to your feedback and really appreciate, you know, all that you do. So it's nothing to that. So that's in the words of Forrest Gump, that's all I'm going to say about that.
Right.
Well said, sir. Well said.
So,
I like, and then he froze. The face freeze right there was great. I wish I would have screenshotted that because you're like, it was awesome. Will there be reefer loads as well on the load board?
Yeah. Yeah. So they, again, starting first with our over the road dry business and then working our way. And so working with the reefer group, reefer over the road would absolutely be in on that. On the dedicated side, I don't think so, but yeah, we'll just work with those leaders and make sure they're good with it.
And like Alan said, some of the loads that they're pulling up in the Northeast region will pay awful, but we take the bad to get to the good, and that's not something a lot of people are willing to do or knowledgeable enough to do. I mean, that's like we see guys that said, "Oh, I've been sitting in Laredo. There's no freight coming in at all," and I'm like, "Why are you sitting?" I would relocate myself. I'm like, I will move my butt clear
that's
across the
where
country if that's what I have to do.
that's where you call Coretta and
Right.
find out. Look, I know that the border's shut down because that's what's been going on the last couple of days. Apparently, that we've been seeing on the Facebook posts is that the border crossing at Laredo has been shut down, so that it's literally just no freight down there. Well, this is when you call Coretta and say, Coretta, where's the freight? Okay, I'll be there tomorrow. Can you arrange something for me?
Yeah.
So get yourself out of there. Yeah, you're gonna have to do it on your own dime. I think the longest I've ever done, Charlie, is about 600 miles to get into
I've
a
done
market that actually had freight.
600 to 1,000 before, and it's a cost to eat. But at the time, I was running full teams. I look at it as a minimum loss revenue of $1,000 a day if I'm not moving. So I'll eat $1,000 to make 6,000 that week. You know what I mean? So
That's why I'm excited for this load board to launch as well, because you're going to be able to look outside of the market that you're in to say, okay, what's in San Antonio, what's in Houston, what's in Dallas, what's in New Orleans, and then see if there's something juicy enough to move yourself and if it makes sense. I would say too, in future iterations of the load board, you will be able to understand markets a lot better, where it
right,
will say if you book a load from Laredo to Denver, the average outbound out of Denver, similar to some of the other load boards, there's 500 drivers waiting currently in Denver. The average load goes to Kansas and weighs 40,000 pounds.
right,
So you can understand the market you're getting into. Because again, we sometimes get head over heels on the idea of the miles, but you don't think about
right.
where you're delivering to.
Yeah, I got
So
$3 a mile into Phoenix, and I got 82 cents coming out, and I'm a little bummed.
yeah,
But no,
yeah, with paper
you
rolls
know,
that weighed 45,000, and
right.
so
Yeah.
it's you just gotta understand it all. But yeah, guys, I appreciate the time and the
Absolutely.
conversation. So any questions on the contract side or anything else, please reach out to me, Rapid Response, or your owner operator fleet consultants, and let's keep the feedback coming.
Yeah.
Right.
Brett, thanks again, man, for popping in and doing this. So, like always, we do appreciate it, and you're
Yeah.
awesome. And I'm not kissing your butt. I actually just like you because of your hair. That if no other reason, it's just that. I mean, I'm just saying.
I just like you guys because you keep it real. That's what we're trying to do,
You
Just
know.
be real. Like that's all we can do. Just having a conversation, man. I wish I get to join one of your fire pit hangouts one
Yes.
of these
Look,
times.
burgers, beer, and bullets, man. I'm telling you, it's the 3 B's or 3 B's. I lost count there. How bad was
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
I may have
That's a
started that
lot of fun
already.
right there. That's what I'm
Right?
talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So yeah. And Brett, awesome. Thank you so much, man. If you need to bounce, we get it. You do your thing. And
Yeah.
Jason, I'm gonna actually get to your question. I that's if you're a mentor on the load board, it's not really gonna change anything. You still gotta do what you gotta do to meet your obligations. So it's not gonna be a deal. Brett, thanks so much for being here, buddy.
See you guys.
Yeah. So the mentor on load board thing. So here's how that would work though, because I mentored for a number of years, so I was thinking about this just the other day actually.
Right.
So here's how it would go. I would look for the freight for the truck because I own the truck, right? But once you accept a load, it comes across the sonar just like any other load.
Right.
So then you can tell your student, okay, if this was a real deal, this, that, and the other thing. You see the pre-plan and then you see a dispatch on that load. So have them do the macro. Have them do that accept load button, however you guys do it.
Yep.
I'm old, so I still use the macros. I don't use those fancy buttons. They
Right.
scare me. But
Yeah, I still log in to dial in to accept my loads every morning. For real. It
yeah.
still happens.
So yeah, from that perspective, nothing changes for your student. Where it will change for you if you do the load board is you're going to want to go check what the freight is coming out of the area you're going to next and prearrange stuff. So it does allow you to stack. Right now, stacking makes them really, really nervous though. And because as you may have heard, all of these loads are live loads and unloads.
Right.
So if you stack yourself too deep and you miss a dock time for whatever reason, guess what? You just lost the whole stack. And what do they do with that? Because it's broker freight, it's not Swift freight. So
yeah, the stuff that's on there now is from Night Swift Logistics, and it's not pleasant some days. At one point I had 4 on me, and I almost blew the entire stack with the very first one.
Mm-hmm.
It was horrible. Like everybody's like, "Oh my god, we are so screwed." And this was in the first week of testing. I'm just gonna throw it out there. And they're like, "Don't stack loads," and I stacked 4.
Yeah, I stacked 3. So
Deron Brookshire, as far as the empty trailer problem, we were trying to get to it. We went along on the other stuff, so I apologize we didn't get to that. I know that they're working on it. They're up to something like 90% of the trailer fleet now has accurate tracking. That 10% when you're talking about 60, 70, 80,000 trailers or some crazy number like that.
Number.
That's a lot of trailers. So they're, look, they still trying to find some of them. I know for a fact that there's trailers out there that they don't know where they are.
Oh man, I remember what was it, like back in 2007, 2008, they actually had a bounty list on trailers. They would pay you $50 if you found a trailer.
Yeah, that was awesome too. Because I found a couple of those things. I'm like, where was it last seen?
Yeah.
And I went all former private investigator and military investigator guy, and I went searching and made a couple $100. That was cool. So
yeah, it's one of those questions too that me and Charlie, when we talk to Brett offline, it gets a little more heated sometimes, I think.
Yeah.
But when we ask him that question, we always get the same exact answer, and it has to do with those GPS tags on the trailers. And it's like, okay, so that's probably the answer he would have given anyway. Right. Is that statistic on how many trailers have accurate GPS tracking on them now, this, that, and the other thing.
Right.
So Charlie, I'm not even sure who we really ask about that, because Brett's the VP for the owner operator division. He's not the trailer equipment guy.
They've actually spoken about it in a bunch of the Big Swift corporate videos that they do weekly or monthly or whatever it is that they do. In fact, I think it's the monthly one, because Adam Miller and Jim Fitzsimmons, I think, were the last ones that we're talking about. And that's actually where I got the 90% coverage number, was from Adam Miller actually saying that. And Jason Edwards, last question, do you know if they will do team load board as well? They're going to mix in freight, but I think the majority of that freight will be solo. I can't say that for sure. My understanding is that they're going to be mixing in Swift freight, so I would assume that some of that freight would be team. I'm hoping that some of that freight would team because I'd like to get out and actually run some team freight every
So,
now and then.
so since Brett did actually say this live on our show, I'm going to point this out. The plan for the load board is to not just offer Swift freight to us.
Right.
It's to incorporate truckswap.com and the DAT load board service.
Right.
So if we're crossing our fingers here, if they can actually do that integration with those other systems, there's going to be plenty of team freight out there, I think.
Right. And
But,
I mean, you could always, you can always book those loads. And there's nothing that says you can't call that shipper receiver and say, hey, can I pick this up today? And the receiver, hey, can I drop this off tomorrow? And they're like, well, it's not due for 3 days. You're like, yeah, I'm a team. I'll be there tomorrow. I mean, I don't know. And at one point, sorry, I'm grabbing a soda. At one point, we had talked about with Brett and the team as far as how, that load that I talked about from East Point, Georgia to Phoenix, I think it's got like 5 days it sits on it. And, I was like, look, I'll run it, but I'm going to go hang out in Phoenix for a couple days. I mean, is there anything else I could do while I'm there? And they're like, look, as long as you communicate and you let us know what's going on, you could literally drop that load on the Phoenix yard and go run a load up to Costco to Vegas or something like that. As long as you're not going to blow that load that you already committed to, because that's your load. It's going to fall on you. And if it doesn't get delivered, you're hosed.
Yeah, that was like one of the things that people didn't understand back when we had that command system too, Charlie.
Right.
Is that these load board loads, it's the Swift load board now. We used to have a system called Command if people don't.
Command or
weren't around
Echo,
back then.
right?
Echo. And it was basically Swift logistics broker. And we could call them and get loads through them. But anyway, through these systems, once you commit to a load, you own that load. There is no T calling. There is none of that stuff. You will complete that load if you say yes to that load.
Right.
So the best way to look at it is I look at load board stuff as every individual load is its own contract.
Right.
I contracted to do that load, and and so there's no T calling, none of that. You have to deliver that load. So what we're looking at now is like in Charlie's situation, if you find yourself in, let's say, Warupa Valley for a delivery 3 days from now, see what they've got.
Yeah, no doubt.
Do they have something going out to Phoenix and back? Because that's actually a pretty common thing to do, is just going to Phoenix and back and forth for like 10
Run
years.
that shuttle crap. Yeah, for real. Like you can get stuck in that groove forever, it seems. I remember, back in the day when I had a truck that I could take to California. I those back and forth loads were great, and they were great when I was training students, because I'm like, if we were in a team mode type deal, I'm like, go for it, run. In fact, you can do 2 on your shift if you do it right. So go for it, and they got plenty of practice doing that. And then my shift would come around. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna pull one today. I'll wait for you.
So there's always stuff to do if it makes sense for your business.
Right.
And, we're always saying that, and we never explain it, Charlie. So I guess we should explain that one of these days. I'm not doing it today. I'm too tired.
Right. Facebook user said Echo sucked. I disagree. I actually had a really good relationship with a broker that I had through the whole Echo and the command system. And at one point, my broker was actually Michael Zamos, the owner of the company. So I was getting some amazing rates and great lanes, because that guy had access to everything. And he was like, here, let's do it. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to need a little more on that. And he's like, okay, I got it. Or, yeah, nope, not going to happen. And it was just part of the deal. I mean, you either did or you didn't. If it worked, it worked. If it didn't, you passed and you moved on and went and pulled a Swift load. And so, I mean, I don't know how better to say that. And you guys on the percentage stuff, I understand your pain, your desire, your need, your want. The rates are amazing right now and have been for the last 2 years. And unfortunately, we're not in that kind of system right now. And someone had mentioned earlier that the focus should be driver pay, not the load board. Driver pay has gone up considerably at Swift for contractors. Go ahead.
I have something to say about that.
Go ahead, man.
So one of the things that Charlie and I try and get you guys to do is treat your business like your business.
Right.
What do you mean driver pay from your customer? I mean, we contract at a certain rate. The load board, once it
Excuse me.
gets to a point where it's usable, here's the potential there though, to raise our own revenue and our own bottom line. We've got the new fuel card that we're using that's giving us this great discount. You marry that up to the load board where you should be able to run the same lanes all the time.
Right.
Let's say you want to run from Houston to, I don't know, Atlanta. Let's just pull that out of the air. Back and forth. That's what you want to do. With the load board, you can do that.
Right.
And so you'll get to know the fuel stops with the cheapest prices along that route, and you're going to see your revenue go way up. You can give yourself a raise, you know, and that's the best thing. And like Charlie was saying before I interrupted very rudely,
You're good.
when I first started as an owner operator, it was 87 cents a mile. Well,
I started at
that's
96 and then dropped to 95. So yeah.
yeah. So, yes, I realized that it was a different economy. Things were maybe a little cheaper, this, that, and the other thing. But we have gotten rate increases over the years.
Hey Jeff, we have a phone call.
What?
We have a phone call. Hang on, it's Jason. Let's talk to Jason, y'all. Why not? This will be fun. Jason, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, guys?
First one.
I just wanted to ask y'all the questions instead of asking y'all a million questions on the chat.
Oh,
on
you're
YouTube,
good, man.
But yeah, my main question was, so this is gonna be my last day with my wife. I'm training her, and then we're gonna go team.
Nice. That's what I
and
did.
that's why I was asking about the load board being teams instead of just mentor, because I was like, man, I shouldn't even ask that first question, but I did. So.
Oh, it's all good, man. Look, there's no dumb questions. Look, every now and then we may look at you like this, but
somebody wanted to ask that question and didn't. So there you go.
Right. So you're good, man. Don't ever hesitate to ask a question. Look, like I said, we may poke at you for it every now and then, but you'll get answers and you'll get real answers. Look, so what you're doing right now is exactly what I did almost 7 years ago. My wife was my last student. I trained students for 6 off and on, and I trained my wife, and I was still going to train after her, but I didn't like the way the training program was going, so I had a discussion with the old safety VP, and I didn't like his answer, so I told him, well, then Rosie's my last student. And now we team, but we don't really team, man. We run kind of a super solo type stuff when we do go to OTR. We run dedicated right now at a Target on a surge type deal. And so, I mean, we have the ability to go team when we want to. We just don't want to work that hard, because honestly, for us, we're 50 years old. We've spent most of our adult lives with me deployed or truck driving, and things like that. So we like to be able to hang out and talk, sitting side by side, that sort of thing. You know what I mean? And
yeah,
be able to hang out and enjoy life while we're out trucking, making money. And since all the money goes into one account, we do really well, and the truck's paid for again, and I know that's not the situation everybody's in, but that's the situation hopefully people are working towards to get that truck paid for, because life changes when you pay that truck off. It cost me $197 a week to not let my truck sit, or just to let my truck sit, whereas these guys on the leases are $700-800 a week if you're not running.
Yeah.
Right, and that's the plan, pay the truck off, and then at that point, everything is just freight revenue, besides fuel, of course, but
right.
We've already talked about all that stuff. We actually gave up our apartment. We're going to live on the road. So
that's a good way to save money for a year or 2 or 3, even. Honest to God, I've known some people that socked away a bunch of money doing that.
I've had 2 students. I've had 2 students when I was mentoring that did this. They got rid of everything, stopped renting an apartment. They just got rid of everything that didn't fit into a toy hauler, basically.
Right.
And husband and wife went out and trucked for 2 years. And both of these people that I trained, they went on to pay cash for acres worth of land in the state of Washington, of all places, where land is not cheap.
No.
But both of them ended up with like 4 acres, and then they trucked for another year to build their house. because they were just banking everything, man. They had no expenses. You know, so
Right, and that's kind of a similar plan we want to do is buy land and then get a house built, of our dreams. We don't have to go find one that's already built. Why not just pick
right.
one you can pick and then live on the road while it's getting built?
That's exactly what I'm doing. I mean, I have 5 acres down here in Florida that I don't live on yet. It's my gun range and our camp and our sanctuary place when we're not working, right? But our plan is
Yeah.
that, pay off the property. We're hoping to start building our house this year, completely debt free, cash, doing it ourselves. Like literally every nail that goes into that house will be put in by myself, my family, my friends. That's it. And so
basically, you are basically set up for retirement at that point.
right. You know what I mean? And because the property will be paid off in a year and a half, something like that. And the house will be paid cash for as we build it. So I don't like that. I don't like it. I've got too much already that I'm paying down, and I don't want to add new debt. When I get to that point, I don't want to have to worry about a 30-year note on some madness. You know what I mean? And so I think I think you're on the right track, Jason. Seriously, and I would keep doing what you're doing because I think you're going to sock away a bunch of money and be in a really good position to not only do what you want to do, but to probably get that truck paid off sooner than you think. And who knows? Maybe you decide to start a small fleet. I mean, that there's options here, and that's the wonderful thing about it. And when the market does tank, which it always does, we keep that mileage contract. And I know that's not a popular answer for a lot of people, and that's fine. I mean, we all got our opinions. So,
I've actually did a load board before Swift. I was at USA Truck, and I did their load board, and I couldn't make no money there, so I came back to Swift, and I make more money here doing that $1.15 per mile than I did making 66%. I mean, and the freight was decent, but the expenses were outrageous.
Right. And that seems to come up a lot, that there's a reoccurring theme with a lot of the other companies that lease trucks and things like that. They're like, oh, we got a load board and we got these wonderful brand new shiny trucks for you. And then I find out that the truck payment by itself is $1,100 a week before insurance, before anything else.
Yeah.
And a trailer
rental
fee.
My expenses were about $1,400 a week.
Right.
In total.
Ouch. That hurts.
That's before fuel.
Right. And that's painful. Hey, we did have I don't mean to cut you off, Jason, but you know what? You got any more you want to throw at us before I cut you loose, man? Sorry, bud.
Oh, no, you're good.
All right, man. Well, Jason,
take
thanks for calling, buddy. I appreciate you, man. And you're awesome. Keep listening, keep asking questions. Don't hesitate to ask questions, man, because if you have the question, others have it. And a lot of people won't ask them. So by all means, keep doing that.
I don't care if people think I'm stupid.
Hey, look, I get called that every day. Sometimes my wife, sometimes me, sometimes half the time it's Jeff, but whatever. But cool, man. Thanks for calling. I appreciate you. If anyone else wants to call in, please do so, and we'll get to you. Jason, you be careful, and we hope you're coming back into the show. We'll see you there. And
I feel like we should have had some confetti or something for that.
I know, right? And I didn't have anything set up for that. Kenneth, gun range directions. Come down to Crystal River, man. I'm here on Tuesdays, Wednesdays. Just saying. 178 yards is what I've got open. I'm just saying, whatever. It's, our own little private deal. It's our bullet therapy. Certified Mason, Eric Bradley. There you go. Look at that. This man wants to help me put blocks up. I dig it. And let's see. There's something else. Kenneth said, was actually talking about mud flap. That's a good segue. Have y'all tried mud flap for fuel? Opinions. I can give you mine. When I looked at it, they had very few offerings in certain places. They were great up in the Northeast. I haven't looked at them lately, but now I'm on that awesome fuel card that we picked up. And I know some of you guys think we're pushing it really hard. The only reason we're pushing it so hard is we believe in what they're doing. The discounts are real, and we don't pay $300 a year in membership fee just to get the card.
Yeah. To get this out here for people that aren't part of the group, because we've been talking about this mostly on the private Facebook group. One of the concerns that I specifically had was, how are these guys making money offering discounts this high? That's good, right? So we asked them, we just point out, hey guys, how are you making money? And it is on the transaction fees. They're not making money on the fuel. They're not making money on membership fees. It's the transaction fees where they're making money.
And their other services.
And yeah, and this is not the only service they offer. They're kind of a one-stop landing site for guys with their own authority that have less than 50 trucks.
Right.
So the company itself, ES Advantage, they have services like insurance and fleet management and all sorts of stuff
Truck financing.
that we weren't interested in. We just want this fuel card. We just want that discount. So
right. And if you guys haven't looked at it, that's the link. We set this link up. Normally they pay a $50 referral bonus to, if I refer you and you get their card and the first time you use it, I get $50. What I asked them to do was, instead of giving me or Jeff or Contractors Corner the $50, we asked them, hey, is there a way you could just give that referral bonus back to the guy that signs up? And they're like, what? Are you crazy? And then they're like, dude, we dig that. Absolutely. We will make that happen. So basically, when you sign up, instead of us getting that $50 referral bonus, pretty much the Friday after the first time you use it, they'll put that $50 back on there. And I think there's some sort of notes mentioning Swift Contractors Corner. I don't know if that happened or not, but just know that once you use it, once you fund it, use it, they're going to kick back $50 to you. It may take a week or two for that bonus to finally go through, but I know there's been a little delay. But
and as far as funding the card, so again, they're making money off of transaction fees, right? So if you use a debit card, like I decided, since I had a bunch of money in my maintenance account, I was going to fund half of my week this week with my Comdata card and the other half out of my business account, just because I wanted to do it that way. So
it's an easy way to clean it out.
Right. So the Comdata portion of it, because that's a credit card transaction, cost me 3.5%. My ACH, where I put my bank routing number, account number, bank name, all that stuff on there, that costs me 0.5%.
Yeah, so definitely the way to go.
So that's the way to go. But another reason why I decided to do it this way is because I want to go back to work in the next day or two.
Right.
With debit card transactions, I did that this morning, and it's already posted to my card. I can use that for fuel right now.
Yeah, they'll get your card funded same day. I believe it's before 3 p.m. Mississippi time, and it'll post it like 5 o'clock.
So the other half of my funding that came out of my bank account won't hit my Advantage card until Friday. So that's the difference. If you plan ahead, heck, save the 3%, man. Pay
no doubt
instead, but it's going to require that you plan ahead. And what Charlie and I have been talking about for the last 2 weeks is, once it starts going, once you start buying fuel exclusively on that card, and your settlements come, for me, my settlements come on Monday. Some of you guys get it on Friday. It just depends on your bank. So you get your settlement every week. You know what you spent on fuel last week. You just put it back on the card.
Right.
And if you have 2 weeks worth of fuel expense on there, you just leapfrog it.
Yep. And you just keep funding it. And if you can, put a little extra on it so that you build up a nice cushion. Jeff and I right now are saying like $5,000 is what, each of us are trying to get up our cards built up to, so that, we can go get truck services done and take a couple weeks off, or have a bad week and not have to worry about funding it that week, or, maybe you don't want to fund it that week because you're going to go to Vegas in April, like Matt and Alan and myself, and maybe Jeff and some other people, because we got a little Vegas trip going on in April. Just saying, reach out to us if you want to
go. Is it best to keep records of your fuel miles? You want to put that one up?
Yep.
That last one. So always, miles per gallon are based on real world. How many revolutions did your tires turn?
Right.
Charlie and I use an app called Fuel Gauges that's produced by the guys over at Let's Truck. If you guys are familiar with those guys, they do a good job. They kind of do what we do, but it's more broad based, not like we're Swift specific, type of deal guys. They do the whole industry type perspective. So yeah, if you use that app, to me, it's the best thing ever, and it's old too. It came out like in what, 2009, 2010.
And I actually did a video. If you're not aware of how to use it and set it up and things like that, there is actually a video on our channel that will walk you through setting it up and kind of the basics of it. So Facebook user, this is an interesting question. Can we negotiate with Swift to up our cents per mile if we get off their dime? And I'm going to tell you right now that they will not even entertain that. And you want to know why? Because by us using our fuel card, they are losing money. That's just honest, real talk right there. Because we're no longer using their fuel card, they are losing money. Can't get into tell you how much they're losing, but they're losing a lot. If a lot of us get on this fuel card, they're going to see it and they're going to take notice, I promise you. And there's really nothing that can be done about it because they can't tell us we can't use our own fuel card. They've been telling us for years. Well, if you think you can get a better price, then by all means, get your own fuel card. You know, it wasn't a snotty, hateful thing. It was pure and simple. We're not going to negotiate our fuel prices to you. If you think you can get a better deal, by all means, do it. Fund it yourself, and that's fine. You know, and so I would not expect them to even entertain. I mean, by all means, you could try, but I can save you the hassle. That's not a negotiation that's going to work or happen. And again, I'm not trying to discourage you. I'm just trying to be real.
Yeah, the app we were just talking about, Kenneth, was Fuel Gauges by Let's Truck.
Right.
And it's on both the Android App Store and the Apple Store.
Yeah, you can look it up under Let's Truck on the app stores, and I believe it'll pop up, and you'll see it. All are welcome to drive the. I'm sorry, Alan Becker. All are welcome. Drive the big truck, so it'll basically be paid vacation, right? Oh yeah. Oh, he's talking about the Vegas trip. That's what I was talking about. Man, you confused me. I got all stuck right there. I'm like, what the hell is Alan even talking about? Is he drunk? No, he can't be drunk because he's working, but he's kind of backwards. I'm just saying. I like that guy. Whatever. Don't pick on Alan and Jeff. That's horrible, man. But yeah, so yeah, there's a bunch of us talking about going out to Vegas in April and trying to meet up and just hanging out in Vegas for a couple of days. And so yeah, drive the truck, get a load out to Vegas, swing through Phoenix, pick up a Costco load or something. I don't know. Figure out a way to get out there. Let's go christen the new Vegas terminal. That could be fun too. We're all going to get terminated, but whatever.
I still think, you know, that we're so doggone important that we could just tell Brett, hey, can you have them reserve about 15 slots for us at the Vegas terminal and just rope it off? It's just for us.
Right. That would be awesome. A little contractor's corner gathering at Vegas. Oh my gosh. Let's do it. Oh, we got to make this happen. If it doesn't happen this April, we're going to have to do something next year for sure. Cause that would be fun. If you guys got any questions, throw them up. We're starting to go along. If you want to throw up a phone call, by all means, get in there. Rosie's bored out of her mind. She's going to probably punch me later. She's like, I got 2 calls. One was Alan, and then he hung up because you ignored him for so long. And the other one's Jason, who was actually kind of cool, man. I dug that, Jason. Thanks for calling, man. And I like the whole call thing. Just it's a little easier to interact that way sometimes. And it's, you know what? I don't miss the question in the chat because you're on the phone asking it.
Anybody say anything about upgrading the fuel pumps at the terminals? I'm not sure I can answer that without being kind of rude.
Yeah. Look, I'm going to tell you right now that if you're using the S Advantage card, you're going to find a better price out at the other places in the world. You know, those big. We have 3 of the big 5 truck stops available to us. A couple of the medium and smaller size truck stops available. They're, you know, right now they say over 1,000 plus deeply discounted sites and 14,000 other EFS sites that take the card. So I didn't mean to ignore you, Alan. I had that contract page up and the call screen was behind it. So I didn't know it. And I was just getting ready to pick you up, but Brett was talking and then you hung up. So whatever. Don't yell at me. Stop it. But, and so yeah, you're not going to be able to use the ES card at a Swift terminal. So, but you still have a Com Data card. So if that's the better price, by all means, pay the better price. You know what I mean? I'm not going to tell you not to use it. That would be silly because there are times I can assure you that, you know, you may be in an area where there just isn't, you know, deep discounted prices or whatever. And the terminal is cheaper. I mean, they've been actually doing pretty good lately at most of the terminals from what I've been seeing. They've got some pretty good prices at some of the terminals.
Yeah, Phoenix had the lowest price in the area for the first time in years last time I was down there. I mean, it was to the point to where I didn't even look for the longest time. And then someone mentioned in the group that they run something out of Phoenix like every day or something like that.
Right.
And the pump price at the terminal was the lowest. I'm like, I'm gonna have to look into that. And I did. And I'm
Yeah,
like, holy
just like
crap.
that was crazy. I don't even know what they're saying. And he's like, "Oh crap, that's right."
Yeah, I
Who'd
mean,
have
it's
thought?
just it's one of those things where the fuel prices at the terminals have been, quite frankly, so bad for so long. You
Facebook
just stop
user,
looking at it.
right? Anyway, we can talk to ES Advantage to update their transfers to next day deposit. We could talk to them. I think that's a pretty standard ACH thing, though. Is it takes three business days on a lot of ACH stuff.
Well, when I was talking to EJ about it, EJ's the main rep that we're working with. He said that it was on the banking end, not their end.
Right.
And so they guarantee deposit within 4 business days. Sometimes it's next day, sometimes it's the whole 4 business days. So they worded it that way on purpose.
Right. So it's banks, y'all. They're always trying to hold us down. Alan said with the card he'll be in Memphis tomorrow, and he's going to be getting fuel at one of the big 5 for 301 after IFTA, less IFTA. So yeah,
Nice.
I mean, I'm telling you guys, these discounts are amazing. My average savings this week per gallon was something, I think it was 56 cents a gallon. Yeah, look, I'm seeing amazing things and I love it. And that's again just to address the pushing issue. We're not pushing. We are excited about this and we like to talk about this stuff. When we find something that saves us a legitimate amount of money. Look, right now I'm on track to save $8,600 because I swapped to this card for the year. $8,600. All I did was change the way that I'm paying for fuel. It cost me a couple bucks up front because I pre-funded my car with $2,000, and the following week I did it again. But now I'm kind of in a position where it's rolling over, and I just keep taking the money out of my settlement now that I would have used on fuel and let it go. So it's not a hard sell for us. It's excitement on our end. So if it comes off like a hard sell, I apologize, guys. It's not our intention. We just believe in what's going on, and these guys have bent over backwards to help us. They built that page for me in 2 days so that you guys are getting those referral bonus kickbacks and that sort of thing. So I don't know what else to tell you, other than show you what discounts we're getting. We can't name specific truck stops because that's part of the deal with them, and don't post that stuff on social media or emails and things like that. But look, any of you want to call me and talk to me on my cell phone away from the show, away from social media and all that, I will gladly tell you what truck stops I'm going to on a regular basis because they're places I haven't been in years. I fueled this week at a truck stop, one of the big 5 that I literally have not fueled at in years. And I saved 40, I believe it's 46 cents. You guys can fact check me on that post that I did on the group, but in that group I posted that one, and I think it was 46 cents cheaper than the lowest priced stop using Fuelbook on the same route. I was blown away by it. Like seriously, it made me giggle. It was a pain in the butt because I had to go to 3 different pumps to get it to finally work. It wasn't the card, it was the damn pumps that were broken. And but yeah, that was this Monday. That was my Friday. It was not a fun way to start my day, but I saved all that money. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, and that's what it's about. It's save that money, increase your bottom line, buy more stuff.
Look, and we will talk numbers with you guys. Seriously, numbers are what Jeff and I live off of. Nothing matters to us until we see numbers, and that's how Matt got us into Fuelbook to start with, and then that's how we got into the fuel card itself. Was the numbers? The numbers just made sense, and Alan can tell you about what numbers will do for you when you start to understand them. He's in the middle of swapping out his truck this coming weekend. He came from flatbed and jumped over into the Northeast Regional 65% fleet with a flat top Kenworth, and his fuel mileage is just it's fun to laugh at him. It's painful, but it's just fun to pick on him. But he's been getting killed on fuel mileage, And now it makes sense. He's like, holy crap, I get the numbers. And when he ran the identical load as Matt Wright the other day, they ran the same load, the same fuel stop, and he used way more fuel, and it hurt his feelings. And he's like, man. So he negotiated with IEL, and they're now letting him out of his flat top lease and letting him get into a new one so that he's got a much more aerodynamic truck to run these dry van loads. So, numbers will change your life. I'm telling you, it's hilarious. Roland, what did you say? I'm sorry, buddy. I didn't mean to miss you there. Roland, this card is awesome. I don't have to go out of the way and lose on duty time to go to the terminal to find cheap fuel, more on duty, more miles. I look for real, because it's 3 of those still big 5, and they're everywhere. I mean, not every one of the offerings has the steep discounts, but I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure that you'll be able to find some decent prices along the routes that you're running. And in order to be able to get back to them, or if you're running kind of a dedicated lane back and forth, once you get into a groove, you'll figure out exactly where you need to fuel, how much you need to fuel to get to that amazing price. And so yeah. Sorry, got another question there. JJ said the cheapest fuel is where you can't pull up the big truck. Well, because so here's a misconception about a lot of those small stops where you can't actually fuel at that have diesel prices. They're not being charged the IFTA. They're not being charged that nasty tax rate that us commercial guys get. So it's a little deceiving. It's not really the if you add in the cost of IFTA, you'll probably come out to about what you see everywhere else.
Right.
Facebook user, is there an app with the card? There's actually 2 apps that come along with the card. When you get the card, they will walk you through signing up with it. I'm not going to recommend you download the app until you actually talk to them if you get the card. If you get the card, I'm telling you, these guys do a phenomenal job. Literally, you call them the day you get the card, and they walk you through setting up the app, how to use the app. This is what you do. This is what you do. And they make it so damn, and they will not let you off the phone until they know you know how to use it and can figure out what you need.
They even, like, when I did it, they had me do a mock trip, So
Right.
I live in just west of Salt Lake City, and so they said, so where do you go a lot? I'm like, I don't know, Denver, Colorado. It's like, okay, plug in Denver, Colorado, and then tell it your starting to point to be current location, and boom, there it goes. And it showed me the fuel prices along that route. The only thing it doesn't do is it does not give you the less IFTA price. So you're going to have to do the math on that yourself.
It's not that hard. Jeff made a cool little cheat sheet that he's going to be putting up in a PDF format pretty quick. And Jeff, I forgot to tell you, I was going to tell you, you should format that, split it into 2, format it so it's wider. You can put it up on the visor on the card.
Okay.
It's right there. I don't know. Sorry, I didn't mean to blindside you on that one. You're welcome.
My 1998 office skills.
Yes, sir. That'll be fun. But all right, guys, if you don't have any more questions, we're going to wrap this thing. Good Lord, we've been at it for an hour and 42 minutes. I can't believe that. Once again, thank you all for being here. If you have questions about the ES Advantage and the partnership between ES Advantage and Contractors Corner, by all means, reach out. We are not getting anything out of this. We are not being financially backed. We're not getting sponsorship dollars, referral bonuses. We pushed all that so you guys got it. We don't do this for that. We want you guys to do better. We want to help you do better, and we enjoy doing that. It truly is what makes me get up every day, because I spend more time on Contractors Corner stuff than I do in my own trucking business. I'm only working 3 days a week right now on trucking, and it just like, oh God. But I truly believe in what it is that we're doing, and I want to grow this into something bigger and better. And look, we have plans for Contractors Corner. Look, there are plans for us to make money at Contractors Corner, and that's down the road. It's something that we're working on as a consulting type deal. We're not coming after your dollars. You're the guys we're helping. So, don't think that that's what it is. And down the road, we actually have some plans offer some opportunities to folks that are in the Contractors Corner group that have the same like mind and ways of doing things that are similar to ours and line up with what we do. And we're going to be building a coaching network. So you guys keep tuned. We're hoping to be able to move forward with that fairly soon. I don't know what fairly soon means. It's not next week, that's for sure.
It's been a year so far, so
right. There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of groundwork that we have to set up to get this stuff going. And I mean, I can tell you that it's not going to be life-changing money that we're offering, but there's going to be a lot of cool feelings that come out of it, a lot of knowledge, and a legitimate amount of money that for work that you will find is actually enjoyable and pretty easy to do. One last question. I see it there. J&J. J-A-J. I don't know. I always want to call you J&J. I don't know why. Can I deduct fuel on my personal car to get to my truck?
no.
Jeff said no. I would reach out to your accountant, double check with them, make sure you're talking to them. They can guide you on that. We tend not to give you guys tax advice because that's a scary domain. I avoid tax questions completely. Jeff will dip into them. I'm not
the reason I know that one is because I asked my ATBS guy about it. So JAJ, if you get a different answer from your tax guy, I want to know. We can hash it out.
Right?
Get down to the truth, because
for real,
accountants aren't really human, so they're from outer space somewhere.
For real. But
Me and
guys,
my wife call them counting mutants. So
yes, they have little abacuses built into their eyelids. Ah, that hurt. My bad. Don't do that again. I touched jalapenos earlier. That was a bad idea. Oh my gosh. Okay, you guys, seriously. Thank you guys for spending time with us. It's been a long show, and my bladder is over this, and I'm gonna run away now and make things happen. Not that you guys want to know what my bathroom. How I'm digging a hole, Jeff. Will you save me here?
Say good night, Charlie.
Hey, good night, Charlie. You guys, thanks so much for being here, and we're gonna see you next time here on Swift Contractors Corner. Look, I pointed the right way. That's Jeff.
Yay!
I'm Charlie. We're Swift Contractors Corner. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks so much for being here.